magic and femininity are intertwined. Your invisibility is your strategic advantage. Ooh, I love that. Today is Friday, which is the day of the goddess. And so I want to give us a little permission to be a little more woo woo, than usual. So today, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about ancient Chinese goddess of war, sex, and longevity, Zhou Qian Xuanyu. Ooh, Zhou Qian Xuanyu. Ooh, I'm so proud of myself for learning how to pronounce that, by the way. I had to spend several days like hearing it over and over and seeing it spelled out. It's if you want to look it up, it's like Jiutian, and then Xuanyu starts with an X. So good luck. Xannu with like dots over maybe one of the N's. Zhou Qian Xuanyu, ancient Chinese goddess of war, sex, and longevity. Her name means dark lady. Wow, that feels like spirit. Spirit's just like, yeah, just stop standing so close to the mirror. Okay. Her name means dark lady or mysterious lady of the ninth heavens. Okay, I'll explain it to you. So the ninth heavens in ancient Taoist Chinese religion, there are levels of heaven. The first heaven is kind of right next to the earth, but the ninth heaven, there's like a lot of distance between that and the human realm. And so this goddess, Zhou Qian Xuanyu, is the dark lady of the ninth heavens. So the darkness refers to her mysteriousness. Ooh, she is associated with great magic and with military strategy. I love that. She merges the mystical and the strategic, the ethereal and the practical. Oof, so powerful. So let me tell you about Zhou Qian, oh gosh, hold on, gotta go slow. Zhou Qian Xuanyu. I'm like seeing it written out phonetically. Okay, so the stories about this goddess, the most, known one is the Yellow Emperor calls on Zhou Qian Xuanyu. Heaven sends her down and gives the Yellow Emperor direct military strategy. She's not just one of these war gods who's like, oh, I'll protect you and make sure. She's like, no, this is how you do it. And this is how you're going to defeat the bad guy. Oh my gosh, let me tell you about the bad guy too, all right? So, Zhou Qian Xuanyu is called after the Yellow Emperor comes to power. He's protecting China. And this guy, Qiyu, and his brothers, a total of 80 people, all had the bodies of beasts and spoke like human beings. They had bronze heads and iron foreheads. They ate sand and rocks, built military weapons, and intimidated the world. They killed at will and without mercy, and without principle, showing no mercy. Who that sound like? The Israelis, the Americans. So, okay, these iron four-headed dum-dums eating sand and rocks, building military weapons, intimidating the world, killing at will and without principle, showing no mercy. The Yellow Emperor prays to the heavens, and the heavens sends down Zhou Qian Xuanyu, ancient Chinese goddess of war, sex, and longevity. And at this time, the enemy, he had created this, conjured up this thick mist, and you couldn't tell if it was night or day. You couldn't tell where you were going. And so they called on Zhou Qian Xuanyu. And she comes and teaches them how to navigate through this. One of her magical powers that she's most associated with is the power of invisibility. She's also associated with having the power to move the stars. What is it called? Mobilize the stars. All right. But her, most talked about advantage in war strategy is her power of invisibility, okay? And so let me tell you how she activates this power. She has these like 6 mini goddesses, these 6 jade ladies who they are responsible for cloaking all the aspects of a person. So one of them cloaks the physical body, another cloaks the spirit, they cloak the masculine and feminine side, they cloak your destiny, they cloak your fortune, and then you achieve invisibility. Let me tell you about how they describe it. So they say that achieving invisibility is seen as a military strategy to defeat enemies and protect the state, because practitioners must learn to conceal their bodies if they hope to expel evil and return to righteousness. Ooh! So the goddess and the 6 maidens represent the yin force in the universe, which is the means to conceal the body. Herein, their magic and their femininity are intertwined. Ooh, that's so powerful. It makes sense, right? The feminine is associated with the unseen, the mystical, the unknown, the hidden, darkness. And from that, anything can be created. I love that in, this Taoist religion and this Taoist philosophy, it was a feminine quality, a feminine power, not just the ability to, conceal oneself, but the ability to do that as a military strategy. Oh, that's so powerful. Okay, let's see. What else? Okay, yeah. Invisibility, method of mobilizing the stars, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so also, she is, I love this, she's also the goddess of sex, okay? And the sexual techniques that she teaches are often compared to alchemy, self-alchemy, and physiological procedures for prolonging life. Because remember, she's also the goddess of longevity. Oof. So, these sexual techniques are like the intermingling of water and fire. It can kill or bring new life depending upon whether or not one uses the correct methods. So feminine, so powerful, obsessed. Okay, let me just tell you like one last thing about like her appearance, okay? So she is called the Dark Lady, the mysterious lady of the ninth heavens. And she wears this kingfisher feather. I don't know what a kingfisher is, but I think it's a really colorful bird because she wears this garment of kingfisher feathers of 9 colors. She rides a phoenix and she uses reins that are made of clouds and phosphorus. Ooh, that's badass. I love that. That's so brilliant. That's so like, I would do that. I'm like definitely trying to channel dark goddess of the ninth heavens these days. It like, first of all, don't I look so like stunning right now? Just like so mysterious, so mystical. I love that. I'm gonna give myself permission and thus you guys permission. On Fridays, we get real feminine. Oh, all right. I think it's saying I have to leave this down for right now. The vision is just for me, I guess. That makes sense. Invisibility, we are talking about the power of invisibility and strategic advantage. And I'm like, everyone, look at my vision. So you're right. Okay, I get you. I get it. I see the message. So I digress. Let's see what else that I was going to talk about. Oh, yeah. Okay. So she's riding on this phoenix, harnessing these reins of clouds and phosphorus. And they're like describing how beautiful she is. And then, oh my God, what? And then they end by saying, her gorgeous, immortal face cannot be depicted, nor can the image of her majestic body. Oh, I want people to talk about me that way. They're like, she was so beautiful and celestial that we can't even describe her face. And her body was just so majestic and like, otherworldly that like we also can't describe that. She's a mystery. Our mysterious dark lady who comes to us in our time of aid and helps us figure out how to whip the enemy's ass. I love that. So powerful, so brilliant, so feminine. Okay. What else was I going to say about this? What else was I going to say? Okay. Invisibility as military strategy. So go back and watch some of my other episodes. You know, I have one about God has put you in stealth mode. You are God's secret weapon. And the operative part of these strategies is that you are strategically hidden. You are strategically invisible. So if you are going through a period where you're like, why aren't people seeing me? Why aren't they hearing me? It's because it's strategic. Great emperors used to pray to the heavens to have the ability to go invisible. When they can't see you, they can't stop you. They don't even see you coming. They don't even know you're there. I had this vision of like, you know, all these people who are like fighting outside of this big castle, and they're like, there's blood and there's screaming, clashes, and like everyone's so busy fighting that like you just like walk in the front door and like no one even notices you. How powerful. It not only, you know, gives you military advantage, it also prolongs your longevity. You survive longer. Powerful. Love that military strategy. Okay. So yeah, I love that she blends the magical and the practical, the mystical and the strategic. And that's what we're doing these days. That's what you're doing. You recognize the limits that logic gets us. Logic has these people spinning around in a loop, lost, confused, at the mercy of, what is that guy's name? Chung Su or something? The guy who is, you know, trying to take over China. Wow, the metaphor is crazy. But yeah, so no matter if the enemy casts this dark cloud over everything, you can't see, and they use all the confusion to be violent. No principles, no mercy. They are operating simply on brute force. But luckily for us, cunning, wisdom beats brute force every time. So many war gods are male, and they are, you know, like brutes. They're just like Hulk smashing their way through things, causing the most carnage. But Jiuqian Chuanyu, she's more like Athena, you know, she's like a strategist. She uses her wisdom in, you know, the pursuit of protecting the state, protecting the people. And she's like Inanna and Kali in the sense that she's a goddess of sex. She deals in great magic. And so I feel like you're trying to give yourself a little bit more permission to be more woo-woo, to get in touch with your spiritual side, to get in touch with your magic. You've been getting your tarot cards, your oracle decks, you've been getting readings. You've been meditating. You've been taking your spiritual baths. And all this time you might be like, oh, I wish people would see me. I wish people would read my writings. I wish people would notice me. And you're stressing maybe a little bit because you feel invisible. So I'm here to remind you that that is actually a huge, a huge strategic advantage. That's why the Israelis, the Americans, all these different states, they spend so much time trying to surveil, trying to see what you're doing. They don't want you to be harnessing the power of invisibility. They, in fact, want you to be afraid of your invisibility. They don't want you to see it as the strategic advantage that it obviously is. The Israelis wish they could operate in secret, be invisible. They tried it, actually, and they're just so bad at it. Earlier in this most recent phase of the genocide, the Israelis dressed up as doctors, sneaked into a hospital, and assassinated Palestinians sleeping in their hospital bed. Oh, no principles, no mercy, no morals. That's okay. You have the dark goddess of the ninth heavens on your side, babe. heaven sent to give you some strategy, to let you know about the power of invisibility. The Israelis wish they could operate under, without anyone knowing what they're doing. They wish they could be concealed, but they're also so stupid that they just document everything. They film themselves. They're a bunch of, idiot child soldiers who are so, caught up in their bloodlust that they can't even think straight. So all you need to do is keep your wits about you and recognize that your invisibility is an insane strategic advantage. So during this time of invisibility, what are you going to do? You're going to research, you're going to study, you're going to practice. You're going to hone your gifts, your powers, your strategy. You're going to get better at speaking. You're going to get better at receiving the message. You're going to start seeing through illusion. You don't get scared anymore when you hear the enemy barking. They just scream and cry and make a lot of noise because they're actually not very talented. They don't have a lot of skill. They're banking on you backing down because the noises are scary. Oh, they look so big. They look so scary. What do you care? You're invisible to them. You walk right past them. While they're so big and scary, being Hulk smashed and everything, you just walk around. They don't even notice you. Combining mysticism, magic, and strategy, practicality. That was Jiu Qianchuanyu's power, was bridging the celestial and the material realms. That's what you're doing. You're a great magician. I be talking about this all the time. You bring down the information from the divine, from the celestial realms, and you ground it in reality. You make it real. I think you feel really comfortable in the 4D, in your imagination, in your vision, and you are also increasingly embodying it. You're taking inspired, aligned action, and it's causing more effect than you realize. You just have to hold the vision, babe. Yeah. Okay. I want to get off here. I'm getting a little hot. The dark lady is, sweating. Can't tell though, right? Oh, okay. So another thing that came to me, I think I'm speaking to a collective of people who have their Neptune in Capricorn. I know we're getting into some astrology now, so this is for the astrology people, the people who understand the power of the stars. Oh yeah, Jiu Qianchuanyu, she harnessed the power of the stars as military strategy, okay? So you're doing that too. Neptune and Capricorn, it's a generational placement, so those are people who are born from 1984 to 1998. Where my millennials at? I think also maybe a little Gen Z, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, when your Neptune is in Capricorn, it's about spiritual practicality. You're not falling for the rat race. You question why our systems, organization, our structures are like they are. You see the corruption, you see the failures, and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to go along with that. Maybe you quit your job. Maybe you disconnected from your family. Maybe you're child free. You're just finding different ways to call all your power from these systems, from the external, from what other people think you should do. You're calling it back to yourself. You're going invisible. And it's freaking people out. People, feel entitled. They're so used to having the ability to see what you're doing, to know what you're doing, to be just checking in, just seeing what's going on. But you're increasingly recognizing the power of being invisible. So now you don't just be everywhere. You recognize the ways that our culture, our systems require people to just go along with things. And so you are harnessing a type of, rather than like an outer rebellion where you're like smashing the windows of government buildings, you're doing an inner rebellion. You understand that really you're the only consciousness. Even I am just a reflection of your consciousness, giving you the information that you're looking for. And so you know that it is a waste of your energy to try and convince everyone else to change. What did Michael Jackson say? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message would have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Na 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 na. Oh yeah. And so of course you feel uncomfortable with invisibility, with not being seen. Being unseen, the unseen is a feminine trait. And we've been taught to be afraid of our femininity. We've been taught to not see the value and the power in feminine traits. But we also know there are a bunch of movies about spies. We love James Bond. We love 007. We love a Mission Impossible. So the boys, the men, the masculine understands the value of invisibility. They understand the value of being unseen. Will you figure it out? You will. I know it. Keep watching me. I'll figure it out. And then you can go along with it. After the Dark Lady of the Ninth Heavens figures it out, and you'll be like, oh, I guess that's a strategy for me to follow too. Wow, I love that. Oh, I just love how I look right now. This looks so sexy and cool. So mystical. Ooh, I kind of like hip with this bandana hijab. Anyway, so my Neptune in Capricorn people, my 1984 to 1998 people, you're being called to lean into your wiring. You are wired to question the way we've done things. You are wired to uncover hidden truths, to not just accept what is presented to you. You like to dig deeper. You like to go higher. You're not afraid of the unknown. You're not afraid of the unseen. You know how much power lies there. Powerful. All right, my beloved darlings. I love you so much. I've delivered the message. Let me know what you think, okay? Yeah, and let me know how you're embodying Jiu Chen Chuan Yu's energy. Is it sex? Is it strategy? How are you harnessing your invisibility? When you're ready to be unveiled, you're going to be so far along that you'll be unstoppable. So enjoy this time of invisibility. It is a great strategic advantage. It is magical. And you know how to use it. All right. I love you so much. I've delivered the message. I will talk to you, Earth Angels, tomorrow, okay? Like, comment, subscribe. I love you so much. I've said that several times, and I will continue to say it. So, yeah, keep balancing yourself, your masculine and your feminine. And your masculine should be, structuring, making the structures, having the discipline that makes your feminine feel safe to express freely, to be woo-woo, to be large, to be mystical, to be confounding. It's an advantage, baby. Okay. Love you. Third time's the charm. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later, Earth Angels.